Greetings and hello there, everybody. It's NOOCH and the Gerbil. Once again, this is take 2 plus, we'll say. Sorry to Gerbil, I didn't have the audio set up as properly, but Gerbil, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing all right. Probably better than you at the moment, but doing good.
It's been, I don't know. We're trying to share a bunch of graphics here, and so a couple different screens, and I just didn't have the... All right, anyway, the setup was a mess. So let's just jump into it. You wanted to take a look at these Conquest feats, so we're gonna pull it up right now. So pass off to you.
All right, hats off to me. Here we go. So Conquest 15 feats. So Conquest 15 feats hit Reddit and have been flying around everywhere. And so I got my first look at these late last night after a really long 13-hour workday, and I was exhausted, and my wife's traveling, and so I'm home alone basically with the kid. And so I started reading these, and I was like, okay, Sector 1, win with Morrigan Elspeth, okay. Gain decay 50 time, okay. Win with Gungans, okay. Win with defeat an enemy with Queen Amidala, and then win with Gungans. I'm like 5 feats in the first sector alone, all based on the newest stuff. And that was kind of the theme all the way through it. And I just kept thinking to myself, how many people are really prepared for this? And then I was thinking, of course, there's going to be cheeses. And I kind of started to get just a really uncomfortable, concerning feeling about this Conquest, about how over the top it feels towards all of the new stuff. And against my better judgment, as tired as I was, I went ahead and I cranked out a video talking about some concern. Not that people can't do it. My message actually was more about, is this fun? Is this enjoyable? Is this good for the game to have people in an event where we almost feel forced to play it, right? How long have you been thinking of Conquest as a grind? Just curious.
It's always been a grind to me. Yeah.
So if we all think of it as a grind, why do we do it, right? I mean, I've heard you say it on your channel. It's a game, and games should be fun. And I've been saying that forever. Chase the fun, not the meta. So I'm looking at this thinking, like, this feels not just grindy, but now so tuned into the most recent stuff. Much of it is unfarmable, which means if you miss the marquees or if they don't come back around, you basically have to dump a lot of crystals or buy your way into this Conquest. Now, that's not really new, but my message was that developers want to make a profit. Players want to have fun. And when those two things merge seamlessly, everybody's happy and players are more willing to spend. But when things feel grindy and then feel compelled to take a certain pathway, then it just becomes demoralizing. And so, like, I got some kickback on that video, and some people are like, this is just par for the course. This is what CG always does. And then Scribe put out a really great video saying, hey, calm down. These feats are okay. And I watched Scribe's video, and I wish he was here. I really want to talk to him about it. But I want to just kind of say, and then I'm curious what your take on it is. I feel like Scribe and I have different approaches to him. He's looking at it from a very practical, here's how we're going to get through it approach. And I think he's absolutely right. There's going to be some great cheeses, and we're going to be able to double dip some of these cheeses. And some of these cheeses are going to triple dip maybe into other stuff. And we'll have a collection of cheese mix at the bottom of the day. And it's going to work. But even with cheese, you still got to have
Crackers?
Yeah, you got to have the crackers, right? You got to have that Jedi Master Luke or that Hermit Yoda, right? I don't know. I was really trying to push this metaphor. I just ran out of stuff.
Yeah. Anyway.
So then I was like, okay, yeah, there will be solutions, but those solutions still require you to have a semi-broad pool or roster of characters. And ultimately, his is more utilitarian. Here's how we're going to get through it, and it's not that bad. And I think he's absolutely right. I don't think that this is nearly as bad as my initial reaction. And so that's kind of what I wanted to throw out at you. But the other thing is, even if it's good or bad in terms of cheesing our way through it, it just doesn't feel good for the players to be so heavily focused on really only 3 factions: Geonosians, Gungans, and Night Sisters. I guess there's 4 Night Sisters, and then the Imperial Remnants. Like, if you don't have any access to 3 of those 4, this is going to be incredibly hard. I don't know. What are you thinking?
I'm gonna be very simplistic here, and this just feels like same old to me. I'm generally speaking not someone that unlocks characters on day one or until they're farm up. I get the new characters when I need the new characters. So like I unlocked Jar Jar on day one, which was fun. But I took my time. I didn't do the Gungans. I'm not Arnold out there taking Gungans to Relic 7 on day one, spending $300 to refresh and blah, just to get the stars. I'm not doing that stuff. I'm getting a little more over time. And to me, yeah, there are some of these that I'm just not going to touch. Like I don't have Morgan Elsbeth ready to go. If it would just said with Morgan Elsbeth on the team, I could throw her into some crap team and into some whatever. But she's not going to survive any battles with me. That's just not. I'm not going to keep her alive. This feels like it's always been to me. And maybe not always, but at the very beginning, I think it was different. But then they changed that. What was it, like 6 months later? They're like, nah, this is too easy. Ever since they made those changes, which has been a long time now, a couple of years, this feels like normal stuff to me where, like the global feats, 250 enemies in Golden Challenge Path, fine. 20 battles with a full squad of Night Sisters. You'll be able to use like a traditional Night Sister team probably on the first tier and knock out some battles that way. I could probably do that pretty easily. Stagger, I could find a way to inflict stagger with some Colonel Stark and whatever. Yeah. Full squad of Imperial Remnants. I probably won't get that. I'll have to look at my roster, but I don't think I've got that. I do have the Gungans. A lot of people won't have the Gungans. I will say I've seen a lot more Gungan engagement than I've seen a lot more Gungan engagement than I saw Bo-Katan engagement as far as recent journeys. So, but a lot of people won't have that. Master Qui-Gon surviving. I've been encouraging Master Qui-Gon and Padawan Obi-Wan like a little bit crazy on that, actually. I'm a little bit overboard, but you and I have talked about this. Their assault battle is so freaking good. I would think a lot of people will have Qui-Gon at least at gear 12, where if you go in I had Qui-Gon surviving last round with a Padme team, and I had him and Obi-Wan like purple gear. And I found
they're really good.
Yeah, so the global feats are a little easier. The sector feats, some of them are a little bit wonky, but it just feels like the same old to me, to be honest. And maybe I might have caught you in a bad moment, or I don't know. That's my thought process on it.
I'm hoping it does turn out to be a little bit easier than my thoughts. But the more I've been interacting with people and just chatting about it, the more I'm seeing that there are some saving grace. Like you mentioned just now, Elspeth surviving. Well, she's a Night Sister, and they're really well known for reviving.
Good point.
So, if you do have Daka, and Zombie, there's a pretty good chance you may be able to keep them surviving. I think the big question is what data discs are we going to get? And I think that's probably the worst thing overall about Conquest. If you get those right data disc setups, it's easy. I mean, you can go in with almost any team and win. But if you just run into constant potency calibrations, which I did that last time, and it was so hard. I didn't get a single blue data disc until Sector 4. I didn't get any Zealous Ambitions. I didn't get any Amplify Agonies the whole time. And it was painful. So I think that probably set me up also to have kind of a negative mindset about it.
Does anybody put any value in the entire team gains 60% potency, or if you evade, you get potency or whatever? It's who cares? That might help, marginally on a couple of teams, but I've never lost. I don't feel like you've ever impacted me greatly in Conquest. I had more or less potency on my team. It's just
No. I think the enemies are often tuned so high that it doesn't really matter.
Right.
By the time that potency ramps, you've probably already lost. And I don't care if you get 90% evasion. For some reason, you're still not evading. Yeah.
Good times.
It's pretty
So,
messy. So yeah, I think that this is ultimately going to be better than my initial reaction. I do feel though for the people who don't have Gungans, especially, and I did check it out just a few minutes ago. There are 28,000 relic Gungans currently in game, and 46,000 boss Nas at relic. So there's not that many.
but let's talk. Let's talk for a second. So, people that would have Morgan Elsbeth and Gungans, Queen Amidala. I'm looking just through the names here. I think Dark Death Trooper Peridia was on here somewhere.
Yep, Peridia's there.
These are the people that are going to be needing Ezra because they're going to get Ahsoka on day one, right?
Yep, totally agree with that.
Anybody that can't meet those conquest feats is probably not going to be an Ahsoka day one adopter. So,
Yep.
so do they really need Ezra super bad? Because by all appearances, Ezra is going to be Ahsoka's lifter. You know, it doesn't seem like there's any
Spectre
other
tag.
what.
Spectre tag. He's the only one.
Yeah, so I just it seems like that's what's going to happen. So is it really going to negatively influence people that don't have these teams already anyway because they're not going to be getting Ahsoka? And that, by the way, I'm not discounting anybody that doesn't have this stuff to say whatever. I mean, heck, I think I do more free to play early mid game content than anybody in the game. But for me, and for me, Conquest has always been get through it the best I can, get the most stuff that I can, and farm Datacrons as rapid as much as I mean. I look at it as a Datacron grind more than anything else.
Yeah.
That's how I view Conquest, and whatever characters come along with it, that's great. Now I'm going to be unlocking Ahsoka, so I may need to find a way to dial in and get that Ezra this time around, which I don't normally do. So, but no, that's kind of my thought process there.
So for the people who may be struggling with this, and I know you've done the research on this one, and I was just chatting with someone today and I wasn't 100% sure, is the minimum crate in hard still better pursuit than going the normal path?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay. So if you think you can at least unlock the first crate in hard rather than completing normal, still go that hard route, right? You get more Zetas, you get more gear, you get more shards.
And if you can get to the end of the first sector, you can at least unlock a bunch of Datacrons and upgrade them to like level 3 or something, real simple upgrades.
Oh.
But that certainly won't hurt you if you've got, I don't know. I'm such a Datacron honk. I know people complain about it, but whether good or bad for the game, whatever you want to say, you put a bunch of Datacrons on your roster and it'll elevate you in Grand Arena by 3 or 4 slots until you get to Kyber 2, and then you're just, raging against the
100%.
machine.
And especially the next set of Datacrons looks pretty wacky. Like Pow. I don't know if you've read that one yet.
I haven't had a chance to look
massive
at that.
damage. Yeah, every time he attacks every time he attacks, he deals massive damage. And I think that's what it says. Right. And on Mothma squad, he's attacking every turn, every character. So
POW, like PAO. See, now POW is Padawan Obi-Wan.
No.
POW.
OG POW, PAO.
Okay,
POW.
OG POW.
Yeah. So, but massive damage. Segue here a little. Massive damage. Isn't that like basically an instant defeat? It's like
probably.
Is it 99,000 damage or is it 999? I don't remember. I gotta look that one up.
Do we have a graphic for those data cards? Because I haven't seen it yet. All right, let's talk about. So we got the Datacron set up now, Mr. Gerbil. So what's going on here? I see tenacity, potency. Go ahead.
Oh, so yeah, okay. So just skipping straight to PAL since we were mentioning that one. This is pretty wacky, and I'm trying to find out how much it is exactly, but it says at the start of battle, all allies get 100% max health, 100% max protection, and are immune to healing immunity. Okay, doubling everything. That's nice. Whenever POW assists, he deals bonus massive damage, which cannot be evaded, and then all allies recover 10% health. So that means how much is massive damage? Because I haven't used that or thought about that in forever, but I thought that massive damage was essentially an insta kill. I know it is numerical base, though?
I don't remember. I couldn't tell you. I mean, I'm certain, like, if you get some characters out there that are low on health, like, but you put this in there with Luthen being out now, right? So all of a sudden,
Yeah.
Mon Mothma team is back to being the meta.
I think so, because that's not all of his bonus yet.
Shocking everybody, and
whole team shot, right, whenever he uses a special. And because of his mechanics, he uses his special every single time he takes a turn.
Right.
So he's going to shock the entire enemy team every single turn while dealing massive damage to target enemy every ally's turn.
So that to me feels, and like I'm looking at Luthen's right now, this feels like when you had the Rey or Holdocron. The Holdocron was one that actually worked, and the Rey was just window dressing. Like, this looks cool, but so the secondary character becomes the primary character here.
Yes, for sure. And then the K2 one, and the K2 one really intrigues me here for a Rogue One squad, and I'm not 100% sure how well this is going to work, or if it's just utterly broken, but I have not heard anybody call this out yet. So K2 has like a 97% chance to counterattack.
Yep.
When he counterattacks, when he takes damage, he gains taunt. So when he counterattacks, he loses taunt automatically. And then I think he has a 75% chance to regain taunt. Okay, so this basically means as soon as you hit him, he loses taunt. And the K2 Datacron here now says that when he loses that taunt, the entire enemy team loses 50% turn meter. So then he counterattacks, regaining taunt. Somebody hits him, he loses taunt, the entire enemy team's at 0 turn meter.
I got the ability up right now. Whenever K2 uses an ability, he has a 75%, 100% while buffed chance to taunt for 1 turn. So whenever he uses an ability, he's going to taunt for 1 turn. So and he counters. This taunt is dispelled whenever he takes damage, and then he has a 97. This is stupid. He has a 97.6% counter chance.
Right, and that counter chance uses his basic, which reapplies the taunt. So you're forced to attack him. So
his counter chance is halved while he's debuffed, so you'd have to keep him debuffed. But even then,
still a almost 50% chance. Right, and then he assists whenever Cassian takes a turn, which would trigger the taunt. And then if you mod your Jyn, and especially like with Spark of the Rebellion and Aratus, Jyn can be pushing 450 speed. So Jyn goes first, pass turn to K2. K2 takes a turn, bye-bye turn meter on your enemy.
I could totally see that. Yeah.
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 I could
it's
totally...
kind of... it messes with your mind, but yeah, it looks... It's so simple, and yet it looks broken to me when you think about it.
I mean, eventually you'll kill him.
Maybe.
Well, maybe, if you never get any turns.
Yeah. Now, the downside is, because the enemies aren't going to take turns, Radis isn't going to be accumulating that download as quickly. Because I'm pretty sure it's based on your allies taking turn, or your allies taking damage or something. I can't remember how that works, but it's going to slow down his ultimate. But it just makes me wonder, like, this could time out so easy if you have, if the team you're attacking is using like just a bunch of taunts with high defense, the Rogue One team just doesn't have any damage output hardly. And if they're not taking turns, they're not triggering the exposes and stuff. So this could just be frustrating on both sides.
I'm trying to read it and I'm failing here. Admiral S gets 1% upload progress for each detrimental effect resisted by a Rogue One ally. Whenever Rogue One ally...
if the enemies...
Yeah, whenever Rogue One ally deals damage to an enemy with expose, he gains 1% upload progress for each stack of expose in that enemy.
Right. So if the enemies don't take turns, they don't apply debuffs, they don't receive the expose, so you're not damaging them with expose. So you're not dealing much damage, and they're
Well,
not taking turns.
Now, whenever a Rogue One ally uses a special ability, Admiral Radis gains 2% upload progress. He gains, whenever Jyn Erso uses a basic or special, he gains 5% upload. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so 20 turns, you should get it then.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Jyn just needs 20 turns.
It could just be an auto though. I mean,
yeah.
If you put it in there and K2's taunting and never lets it go, wow, that's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say to people, if you see that on defense, think careful before you go in there. Just think very carefully about who you use. And I'm just halfway tempted to say you need characters that just completely stop turn meter gain, like, oh, I don't know, Jedi Master Kenobi.
And it looks like they've got these long novels that they put out for Eeth Koth and Plo Koon after the Lightspeed bundle as well here. And
yeah. I haven't even read those yet.
And there's one that just says Shock. It doesn't say Shock T, just SHAAK. So,
yeah. Well, CG's never been great at proofreading their forum posts.
Nobody's great at it. The news is bad at it. So I don't know, man.
Yes.
Let's see here. Anyway, this is a big long paragraphs on Eeth Koth and Plo Koon.
Okay, I got to read Eeth Koth because he's just worthless in the game. So let's read this one. At the start of battle, Galactic Republic Jedi allies gain 100% offense and 20 speed. Now that's pretty good. I mean, put him on a Master Kenobi team with Kat and Ahsoka.
Oh my god,
100% offense.
Can we stop buffing these guys? All right, go ahead.
Put it on Kelleran Beck. Put it on Qui-Gon Jinn. Yeah. 100% extra damage on a Qui-Gon Jinn team. They are immune to buff immunity. Eeth gains 100% max health and protection, which means he's still really weak. If the leader is a Galactic Republic Jedi, Qui-Gon, whoever, whenever they take damage, Eeth taunts and gains foresight until he evades. Whenever Eeth evades an attack, he gains 10% turn meter, and all Galactic Republic allies gain 20% health and protection. Whenever Eeth uses a special ability, he gains 10% turn meter, blinds all enemies for 2 turns.
Oh my god.
Another evade, which cannot be evaded. All Galactic Republic allies recover 20% health and protection, and gain 50% protection up. We ain't done, folks. Whenever Eeth uses a basic ability, daze target enemy for 2 turns, which cannot be evaded. Whenever a Galactic Republic Jedi ally gains foresight, all Hermit Yoda, all Galactic Republic Jedi allies gain 20% turn meter and recover 20% protection and 20% health.
Just when you thought the Padme-cron was gone, it doesn't matter.
No. So for those of you who did buy that Lightspeed bundle, congratulations. You now have one of the most powerful characters in the game for the next 3 months. If you can unlock this.
Let me tell you a story. Eeth Koth was the first character I ever took to 7 stars in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And
wow.
I mean, I was like, whatever, 3-4 months into the game at the time. I have no idea what motivated me to do that, but I remember that was, and then I never ever used him again. So, yeah, man. I mean, that's gonna be you're just gonna throw him on the Jedi Master Kenobi team, and you're not gonna be able to get through that team again.
No, that's this all of those assists. With all that damage, with all the foresight, with all the healing, 50% protection up. Oh, wow.
I feel like this might be even bigger than the Padme-cron, honestly. I mean, this is huge. I haven't even looked at the specials yet. For like Galactic Republic.
I don't know what his kit does. I have no idea.
His
But
kit
with
does
Kenobi
nothing.
passing,
his kit does nothing.
With Kenobi dropping the cooldowns, though, Eeth can use that special ability, which is going to give all your team, which is going to blind the whole enemies, though, and give your team that protection up.
Oh, here we go.
So
here's for Jedi. At the start of the encounter, at the end of their turn, allies gain 1 stack of Retaliate, max 3 for 3 turns, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. Retaliate. When damaged by an attack, deal 20% of the damage received per stack to the attacker. So you're going to add that on top of Eeth Koth's crap.
That is actually that retaliate. That's good to know for everybody again who bought that Lightspeed bundle, because in Conquest 15, gaining 50 stacks of retaliate somewhere
You're right.
there it is in Sector 3. It's gain retaliate 15 times. So if Eeth Koth gives retaliate to the whole team, then you only got to trigger it 3 times.
You can't
So that feat becomes really easy.
No, you can't use Datacrons in Conquest, right?
Oh no, but I thought that was his ability.
Oh wait,
or is that
sorry.
a different?
I'm all over the place. Hold on. Eeth Koth.
Was that an ability or a Datacron?
I don't know, dude. I was so the Padme-cron on the Jedi Master Kenobi team was so frustrating to me. I don't think I didn't get through one of those. And now that's all I'm going to run into again. So
I ended up putting my cat to like 378, 380 speed ish, just to go first, so that in a mirror match I can delete the enemy cat, then auto basic essentially on Padme, and then after you get rid of Padme, you can do it. But it takes 3, sometimes 4.5, almost the full 5 minutes at times.
Yep.
It's just wow, so much fun. So why don't we move on from all of this shenanigan to something even more fun? I'm thinking mods.
Let's think in mods. Hold on. Let me go over to here.
I actually love mods.
I know you love mods. And so
yeah.
What I've been doing on my channel, I think what prompted this discussion is I've been I made up a tracking spreadsheet here for mods, and I'm not saying I'm special or anything, but I kind of wanted to be able to start tracking and see where people, when I was doing roster reviews, where do they fall on trend lines. And so and I've got the chart up here on the screen right now. You've got that, right? You can see the trend lines and okay.
Yep, the black one with the blue and orange dots.
Right. And so what we're doing is we're pulling mod scores, and it's putting the blue is your overall mods, and the orange is your top 110 mods. And so if I pull somebody's mod score, I can throw them into here. We can see, hey, you are ahead on mods, you're behind on mods. Where it used to be this manual thing where I look at their top 10 characters, look at the mods, see what's going on. Now I just pull your mod score and say, hey, you're at 8 million galactic power and you have no mods on your roster, something like that. Or your mods are great. And before you get into it, the fun part here is, and I'm going to show here, that's mine. Let's pull up yours. Gerbil's mod score is 12.82 and 25.35, and I let's see here, and I think that's a little advanced where I have it on the table actually, but you were this was you, yeah. So Gerbil has the first few that I pulled. Gerbil and Arnold were at the top, and now I've got Scribble and Calvin and Sanjita in there, and I got some. You can I don't know if you can see I don't think you've got the far top right one that's just completely out of whack. Maybe I can share my screen here.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I'll try and share it. Sometimes it makes my computer do bad, but the one that's out of whack up there is some oh no, what's our top guild called? Caw. That's some Caw guy who's got like every single mod is 6 dot and over 20 speed. It's like an insane mod, and it's like 600 of them. And so he just sets off everything up there. But you and
that's actually Arnold, George Lucas.
Right. So you and Arnold are in here. This is you, and you and Arnold were the first couple that just kind of went way above the trend lines.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a good company to be in. So for those that don't know, what is the Omega score? Do you know how to describe that one? Because I actually had to do some real research in it.
Well, I know that. So it's doing some work. And by the way, yes, somebody showed it to me, and it was a bunch of math gobbledygook. And yes, and I just my brain it bounced up my forehead and then went out into the galaxy. So when I see math gobbledygook, it bounces off. Let me I'll give you a basic roll up here, and then you can jump into there. So basically, the Omega and the Omega top 110 is taking your is combining your count of 5-dot mods and 6-dot mods with your speed and calculating the score based on that. It's not bringing in potency, offense, health, none of that stuff. It's just saying how many 6-dot mods do you have, how many high speed mods do you have, and then putting the scores together that way and doing it for all of your mods, but with the Omega, and then your top 110 mods with the Omega top 110.
All right, that seems pretty fair. So I had a wonderful ChatGPT conversation about the mod scoring. What is the Omega? How are they calculated? And surprisingly, GPT knows a lot about this. It really blew me away. And it said the Omega score focuses on the quality of your mods, including their primary and secondary stats, how well they are optimized for key characters applied to, and whether they are fully leveled and effectively matched for set bonuses. It's more about how well you've modded the characters you have rather than how many characters you have, which means that the size of the roster isn't a significant factor in calculating your Omega score.
I'll buy that. The reason I don't buy it is because of the table I'm putting together. And if that was the case, you would see people at 4 and 6 million galactic power that had really high Omega scores. Because the bot would not expect somebody at a lower galactic power to have the same mods as somebody up at the top, but it is. The bot's expecting people. The bot's holding everybody to the same standards is I guess where I'm getting to. And if it wasn't like you would see, so if you had a 2 million galactic power roster, and they had like 20 mods, 20 speed plus, and whatever 26 dot mods, and they had their whole roster modded. If that was what it was doing, the Omega score wouldn't hold them accountable for having great mods on all their characters because you're not going to get that at 2 million. I just don't think it's doing that, and I think the trend lines really show that it's not doing that. Maybe it is on some small scale, but I don't buy that. And
yeah, I don't know the full calculation behind it, but I did dive deeper in that with GPT, and I'm not saying GPT is right. The thing does hallucinate, but it went on at length talking about how account size, how the Omega is not taking account size into great consideration. It says it has an indirect effect on it. It doesn't automatically result in a higher score. And then it gives some examples on how it's applying it. So I thought that was quite fascinating. My alt account, I don't think you have my alt account in that data set. And it's at 6.1 million GP, and the Omega is 5.1, which is considerably above average for that GP.
It is. It's better than mine.
Yeah, 5.1. And my top 110 there, I don't know what the score, the mod Q top 110, I don't know what that means exactly. The Omega top 110 is a 6.7. So it's pretty good. But I spent a fair amount of time optimizing, not just like, are they complete sets? Are they, 5 or 6 dots? But even just strategizing with people, like, how are you rolling so many 25s and 26s? And there does seem to be some techniques, some strategies that don't conform to statistics. Like if we were just taking all of these rolls and things at face value of a 1 and 4 and independent probabilities, I don't think that that's actually happening in the game. I don't know where we left off.
I don't know where we left off. I don't know. So maybe it's the fact that you can't really take the opportunity as a newer player. And with Lightspeed bundles, I mean, newer players are falling into the 4 million bucket very easily these days. Which I think was the entire intention, to get people to 4 million quickly, because that's when you start playing the game. And at that point, if you bought a bunch of Lightspeed bundles, you're going to be behind on mods. Even if you haven't, you're going to have less opportunity to optimize mods. You're not going to have the optimal mods on TIE Fighter Pilot, right? You're just going to throw some 6-dot mods on them or whatever. And so maybe it reflects that. I think with the way, and by the way, I'm not beefing with the score. I think it's a really good indicator. If you look at the trend lines to me go the right direction. And if you look at where the dots are positioned, it all makes a lot of sense. And I do agree with what you said about the bot, that at higher GPs, it doesn't necessarily just automatically say you got a bunch of mods, you're good to go, because you can see a lot of low scores there, and a lot of people have. I mean, I've definitely seen a lot of those rosters with lower mods, like 300 mods, but they haven't been upgraded or whatever. I think it's mostly based on, from what I have seen, if you've got a bunch of high speed mods and a bunch of 6-dot mods, the higher your score is, and it may be calculating what are your mods on POW, for example, but people down in the 2, 4, 6 million range aren't going to put mods on POW, or might only have them activated at one, level 1 or something, and you're not going to mod those characters.
I'd love to have a conversation with the developer behind this mod, what would the mod score bot, just to get more insight into it.
Yeah.
But I think I wouldn't be surprised if it does look at like Galactic Legend moddings. Like, what is the speed applied to the Galactic Legends specifically? Or maybe the top 15 meta teams according to swgoh.gg, right? That wouldn't surprise me too much. But the thing is, I definitely know that the faster your mods are, I think the more significant the impact of your Omega score. And as I will point out, I just did a modding video about 2-3 nights ago, and the title was "How do I choose which mods to upgrade?" And in that video, I actually showed my recent GAC. The person who won that round had by far the fastest mod. I mean, their top 25 average speed, the number of 6-dot mods, everything they had was significantly higher than me. And then that gap was almost the same from me to the third place. I came in second. So whether there's a correlation or just a coincidence, the number 1 player had the highest mods. The number 2 player in the event had the second highest mods. Because mods are the only thing that differentiate your character from someone else's character. Your Vader is their Vader. So, like, a lot of people ignore mods, or they just throw whatever on, or they just level it and move on. And like, I really stress people, take a few minutes, right? Once a week, spend 20 minutes and look at your favorite team, and then the next team, and then the next team, and really try to optimize those mods. Don't worry so much about like which character has the fastest speed in the team, as much as, are the mod sets correct? Are you trying to roll for faster mods? Are you putting health defense on tanks instead of crit damage and stuff? There are exceptions for every class of character and mod type, but there's also a lot of modding help and guides out there. And it should not be overlooked for this game if you want to play competitively.
I think that's 100% true. It's automatically clear that the mods matter, and as you move forward, like you said, if you want to play competitively, you have to work your mods. You have to work them all the time and be on top of it, and make sure that you've got good sets of mods on, the right sets of mods on the right characters. And I think it is indicative. Like, your roster's in Kyber 1, right? That you're talking about?
As of today, I think so.
Okay.
I'm always right in and out.
Yep. And I agree that the higher you get, I think the mod gap matters at every level. Now that I say it, if you got an even roster, which you're gonna, as you get into Kyber 1, the top parts of Kyber 2 and the bottom in Kyber 1, everybody has basically the same roster with some small variances. Then the mods matter, and the fastest modded team is probably going to be the best off. And yeah, you got strategies and counters, and I put the right defense out there for this guy's roster. But at the end of the day, if they have better mods than you, and they can get their teams can get out ahead, like I look at an Imperial Trooper team. If that team goes first, there are so many teams it can beat, And I know it's not as relevant in the end game as it is in the mid game, but if you've got Piet modded for speed and he goes first and you pick the right opponent, they'll never get a turn. And that's just one example. There's hundreds of examples. So
that's why Cat is modded for such excessive speed on competitive accounts. Like I said, I've got mine modded at like plus 170 something speed. Whereas I don't know how many times I go in my alt account that I think it's a Rhodium one, and I run into GLs who only have 40 bonus speed. Like, the arrow is an offense, and they don't have any secondaries on the mods. And I don't mean to belittle, and I do chuckle. I really don't. I mean, everybody plays the game for entertainment, I hope, and their interest is different, and their level of engagement is different. But at the same time, I talk to so many people who say, I'm really struggling. What do I need to do? And a lot of times it's like, well, you need to fix your mods, like numero uno. you need to take that purple 3-star off your GL.
Right. It's 100%. And it is so important. And I really do think, because, I do a lot of roster reviews, and it is just the Lightspeed bundle crunch. So if you are a Lightspeed bundler, then your grind is mods and zetas and omicrons and omegas. Even that's been a real grind for me to get my hands on omegas. And the mods are the easiest to farm of that group. Zetas, zetas are pretty easy, but getting enough of them is the question. But the mods are the ones you can. There's a clear path to how you get your mods on your roster, right? And that's what I mean by easiest. So, it's also how you become this giant Jabba honk here in the last last couple months, and also the Poncho Bros. Master Qui-Gon and Padawan Obi-Wan at 7-star. Yeah, I think it's Gear 12. You don't have to have Gear 12. I don't know exactly what you need to get that part of it done, but Tier 3 gets you basically the same mod materials you get from Smuggler's Run 2. It's only once a month, but it's a big deal.
If you got Jabba and the Poncho Bros, your modding potential is going to increase. I mean, you are going to outpace those that don't have that in terms of quality mods at an astonishing rate.
Yep.
I mean, you will be getting full 6-dot modded teams 4 or 5 times faster than they will, minimum. It's crazy. So when you're upgrading your mods, I've had this conversation with a lot of people just privately, one-on-one, and you're slicing and rolling mods. There's, as I understand it, officially those secondary stat rolls are all independent also. Like whether you upgrade it level 3, then 6, then 9, then 12, or you just upgrade it straight from level 1 up to 12. Those secondaries are supposed to be independent of each other, statistically independent, right? 1 and 4, 1 and 4, 1 and 4, 1 and 4. Do you find that to be true? What's your take on it? Do you upgrade them 3, 6, 9, 12? Or do you just select all, upgrade all?
I just upgrade all. What? So I don't even know what you're getting at here.
Okay, so I got a buddy who his Omega is considerably higher than my main. Like, he is a mod master, and he's collected a ton of data over the years of his own mods as he rolls them, and he's done a big statistical analysis and spreadsheeted it all like crazy. And one of the things that he was trying to tell me is that if I remember correctly, we should get him on the show, that if you are upgrading, if you just click reveal all secondaries, he says you will have worse mods than if you go mod by mod, upgrade level 3, then upgrade to level 6, then upgrade to level 12. He says that certain spots, if speed is 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th in the list, even has a different, over several thousand occurrences, has a significantly different probability of rolling 4 speeds. Like the 2nd spot, I think he said, is the highest. The bottom spot is the lowest. And so like he'll roll 1, miss, roll it again, and if it doesn't have 2 speeds and it's on the bottom, like trash it. Like it's just not going to get there. Like I don't know. It's out there. I always just select the mods and hit reveal secondaries, and then dump everything that doesn't have speed and go from there.
So, hang on a second. He's saying that if speed is in the 4th slot, for instance, you have a better chance of rolling more of those.
more or less. I don't remember the exacts.
So let me.
So I was just curious
I'm
what
gonna
your
pull
take
up
and find
all my squares. I'm gonna pull up all my squares. It's on the screen right now. I stopped sharing screen with you, by the way, because it was
Okay.
lagging you on my computer, and that's why I remember why I don't share screen. But on my squares, my first one is in the 4 slot, 26 speed. My second one is in the first spot, 25 speed. First spot, 25.
Okay.
Second spot, 20. I don't know. I'd have to be convinced that if speed's in a certain slot, you're going to roll it more often, because mine are are all over the place here. As I'm looking at my top, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 4. My top 24 square mods. 4 spot. I don't see a lot of third spots, I'll say that. But that seems, I don't know.
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
But on that same vein, I have an anecdotal experience that was in my modding video, and since then I've now done this 3 consecutive days in a row. You take a gold 5-dot mod that has 11 speed on 2 rolls. That means it's got a 5 and a 6. Okay, you follow?
I've got some here. Hang on. Okay.
Yeah, just a 5-dot with 11 speed on 2 rolls. So normally when I'm looking to 6-dot a mod, 11 speed is not high enough for me. I would normally pass on that.
Right.
But 3 days in a row, I've updated 3 mods. All 3 have those. All 3 of them rolled a speed immediately after upgrading it. And that was after the video I posted where I talked about this observation, that one of the most consistently fast speeds I get, I mean, not every time, of course, but more often than others, a lot of my 24, 25 speeds started as a 5-dot 11 speed. And then I roll another 5, and then another 6, and then another whatever. And I frequently will have to slice it and then calibrate it a couple times. But those tend to get some of the highest speed on my accounts. Then more so than, like, I don't know how many times I've had a 4 roll speed that's pushing like 18, 19, and I cannot break 20. You know, I go to 6-dot, I go to blue, purple, I calibrate it, I calibrate it again, I calibrate it a 3rd time. I do not get that 5th speed roll.
So
you look intense right now.
I mean, I can test it. I don't have enough Mark II pulse modulators. I'm at 15 out of 20 right now because I've been going kind of haywire lately. So what you're saying is I'm looking right now at a square that's a gold square. It's got 2 speed rolls. It's at 11 speed. So you're saying if I take this to 6-dot, right? Because it's already gold. Or are you saying your first 2 rolls get you to 11 speed? No.
So before you 6-dot it, it's at 5-dot maxed out.
Okay.
And it has 11 speed on 2 rolls.
That's what I'm looking at right here.
Anecdotally,
why are there balloons on your screen?
I hate that. I keep turning that off and it keeps coming back on. I don't know why. But anecdotally, my experience is that those turn out to be really good mod rolls. Let's see, does this one work? Yeah. Wow.
If you just do that, it does that?
Yeah, so it's like the Rockstar thing, gives you the lasers. I'm slowly learning these. Thumbs up, double thumbs up is fireworks. Double thumbs down. I mean, like, why did Apple think that we all need this? I don't know. And the crazy thing is it's on by default. Like, nobody asked you, hey, do you want to sit in the rain? Yeah, whatever.
Awesome. Okay, so back to the our ADD kicked in there. So if I'm going to 6-dot this, it's 11 speed. When I go to the next upgrade, you're saying that my chances of getting it to like another speed roll are higher. Is you just had this experience the last couple of days though?
3 days in a row, and I talked about it publicly before I had that. So my question then is this just me? Am I an outlier in this experience, or is there something to it? And and I've encountered this a few times, that in different situations that really have me questioning the coding on these. Jen Erzo, for example, many of my 27 speeds happened, or 26, 27s happened when I applied the mod to her and upgraded. Conversely, every mod I put on Poncho Master Qui-Gon, I cannot get past 16. See, the way I mod is I will apply the mod the character needs, then I upgrade it. And I have already gone through probably 16, 17 mods on Master Qui-Gon. None of them get over 16. Jen Erzo, every 5th mod or so, punches up in the high 20s.
You know what that sounds like?
Well,
you know what that sounds like? Sounds like it's random. I'm just.
It could be. It very well could be. Right? We all have these different experiences, but I think it's a lot of fun to explore this. So okay. I'm looking at my squares.
Okay.
So I wish I could share my screen with you right now. I can't do that. I sorted by only mods that have 5 speed rolls. Okay, only mods with 5 speed rolls, all squares. So all squares. And I just looked at it. In the top 25, only one of them has speed on the 4th slot.
Hang on a second. How I got something sorted out here. Oh, that's why. Okay. So say that again. Only one of your 25 speed has speed in the 4th slot?
Of my fastest squares,
yes,
all have 5 speed rolls.
Okay.
Of the top 25, only one has speed in the 4th slot.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of my first 9 have speed in the 4th slot.
Well,
more than half of mine.
So that's just my experience.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I love about this. We can waste so much time talking about, no, this is what you do, and then one other person comes along and is like, nah, screw that. It's completely wrong. Here's proof.
And that's what, that's being a human, right? Like we tend to remember the bad things, so a bad thing happens once, and then we say it always happens, right? This always happens to me.
Always happens.
I can never do that, whatever. Or my RNG
every time I go to the grocery store, I get arrested.
At the end of the day, I'm still going to believe that all of the. I'm going to go to my diamonds here. Let's go to my diamonds.
Diamonds it is.
One of my 5 speed rolls. 2 of the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've only got 7 5 speed rolls here actually, and 2 of them are on the 4th slot. 2 in the 3rd. 1 in the 2nd, 3. And 2 in the 1st. I have a pretty even distribution here.
Okay, if I'm not misclicking because I'm just doing this on my phone. It looks like 4 of my top 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 4 of my top 25. So that's below a 4th. So see, I'm on. That's
below a 4th. Yes, you're right. You're right. And it's certainly way outside of any standard deviations you might want to. All right.
At least 3 to 11 standard deviations.
That's like one mod off of 1/4. All right. So,
but it works in my favor.
You should run for. You know what? You just use it at work. Yeah, that's what you do at work. This is why now my wife is a math teacher. And she hates statistics because of this. Because of this, you can make them. So she just says it's all just lies. She says statistics is fake. She's not even a real thing.
My mother was also a math teacher, and yes, she had her master's in statistics and probability, and so I got to hear so much of this growing up. Oh my god, it drives me nuts. And she'd always be like, "Numbers don't lie, people lie."
About numbers. All right, so I'm sticking with it's random, and I feel comfortable with that.
I'm happy to agree with you, but I'm going to keep this conversation going in Discord with people.
All right, dude.
Oh man,
I don't think we do have anything else to cover. We could cover kind of the mod scores and the Datacrons and anything else and Conquest. Anything else going on?
Oh, you always ask me at the end any last words or advice or anything, and I've got one tip. I'm actually prepared this time.
Uh-oh.
All right. Okay. You know those daily scavenger Jawa deals?
Yeah. Wait a minute. Do I?
Yeah.
Let's see.
So,
yeah. The daily deal at 3,200,
Yeah.
1,600, 800. Okay. Yep.
Yep. Okay. So I just sent you a screenshot in Discord. This is not amazing,
Oh, boy,
but it's absolutely something a lot of people need to consider right now.
Hang on. For me to pull the Discord screenshot, your face is going to go away for a second while I pull it up. I know. This is. Did you? I don't see it.
Well, I'd sent it when we started the call.
Oh, okay.
We'll put it
Hang
that
on.
way.
Okay, the scavenger. Okay, let me do this. Oh no,
Yeah.
your face is still there. Look at that. It worked. Okay.
Yeah.
Yay! Okay, go ahead.
All right. So I almost always ignore these daily deals.
Yes.
But now that Conquest 15 is so heavy on remnants, you see it immediately, don't you? The daily deal on my account popped up 20 shards for 1,600 crystals. That is literally the same price as buying the weekly shipment twice for 10, right? It's the same price.
Plus,
but you're getting
signal
20 signal data. You get 20 signal data plus 5 of those coils. And those coils are the number one hardest thing for me to farm right now. I swear those things.
I hate them.
That's not true.
I hate them.
I hate that. Yeah. Every day, light side, 7, whatever, refresh. I hate that. So this is a really good deal because 5 of those blue signal datas, that's 100. 5 of the green, that's 100 crystals. 10 of the other ones, that's easily 100 crystals. So you're basically getting, I don't know, maybe close to 2,000 crystal value. And if you're going to buy it, so slam. So anyway, that was my any last words of wisdom. Don't pass on those. Oh, and if you're curious how to get that guy in there, I've found that the daily deal from the Scavenger seems to be based on whatever you are favoriting. So when I favorite a ship or I favorite certain characters, their shards or the gear they need tends to pop up. It takes about a week or so for that to somehow synchronize with the servers. But like if I only want injectors, I will put characters who need injectors in my favorite list and make sure I have nothing else. Because there's also a scavenger deal that gives you 20 injectors, and it's a really good deal relative to just buying them with crystals.
So once again, we're dealing with, is it random or not?
Oh no, this one I am 100% convinced. I'm 100% positive because I do it both on my alt and my main, and I can guarantee within a week I can get certain things to pop up in there. Character shards, gear, or relic materials based on what I favorite.
This is my first time looking at Ezra's new character model. Anyway, all right, go ahead. All right. But that's a pain for me. All right, so I got to remove some of these characters. So now I just got my favorite characters down to, let's get Embo. See, but some of these guys I'm still farming, so I don't want to remove them.
Yeah, that's the pain, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. So okay. So I'm looking at my alt account, and it's hard to see, but my daily scavenger, what it's offering me there. So I've got relics, signal data, I've got furnaces, okay, and I've got zetas. What do you think my light speed rich alt account needs? Definitely zetas.
Yeah.
And then if I go look at my favorited list, I have 3 relic characters up here. Super hard to see, I know. They need that signal data. And then I have Jedi Knight Anakin, who, as of right now, needs 50 furnaces. And as of this morning, needed 100 furnaces.
Okay.
And those are the 2 things that it's really... Oh, and he needs a Zeta still. So Anakin needs a Zeta. 3 characters need relics. And Anakin needed 100 furnaces. There it is. Perfect match.
Well, I just removed all my favorites except for Death Trooper Prettium, Night Trooper, and Captain Enoch, so we'll see if that works out for me. I have been getting Zeta offers on my alt account, so that kind of makes some sense. Interesting. Now I got to look up the characters I'm farming every day to go farm them, though.
I mean, targeted ads is nothing new except for CG. They don't really do it.
That makes sense.
I still get.
Yeah, and that's targeted like packs, really.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, targeted bundles.
All right. Well, I've done it. I'll let you know when it happens. That's really good advice, actually. Good call there. That's final words from Gerbil today.
Yeah. Actually useful for once.
Well, I think all this is useful in terms of the game.
I appreciate
In terms of life, I'm not sure how useful any of us are.